Most folks managed a single fusion if they were lucky. He apparently broke the system, capable of bonding with nearly 10 million monsters. His debut fusion wasn't exactly low-key. It was Emperor Demon Ra himself, blue blood, legendary power, the whole package. Even with such insane potential unlocked, people still saw him as a walking disappointment. Blame the outdated evaluation system, it just couldn't keep up. His stats were off the charts, literally unmeasurable. His mind landed in a new world, eyes wide, gears turning. Orientation, non-existent. He was still piecing together where here was. Then, a bizarre mental pop-up hijacked his thoughts. Welcome to Blue Star, a place where fists spoke louder than words. Portals kept dropping monsters in like unwanted party guests. Several nations had already been wiped off the map. Humanity, stubborn as ever, fought back with something new. The Beast Gene system. Inject the gene, unleash your beast mode, become a warrior. Simple enough. With no plan B, Blue Star dove headfirst into an age ruled by brute strength. A world hopper turned warrior prep student was now cramming for his final trial. Tragedy hit during sophomore year. Motivation nosedived, grades followed. Now he stood at a crossroads, mentally shrugging. The teacher marched up with flair. Time for gene injections. 3 years of prep came down to this. Then came the warning glance. Slackers, consider this your last wake-up call. He mentally scoffed. He had been grinding. Guilt, not on the schedule. Still, he'd inherited this body and the mess. Time to fix what was broken. With no dramatic pause, the class marched off toward destiny, or at least the gene injection hall. A row of sleek metal boxes sat lined up like high-tech lunch trays. Each box held a serum packed with raw monster DNA, basically bottled chaos. Post-injection, the gene roulette spins. Better body, better monster. The teacher, all smiles, tried calming the nerves, then began calling names like a raffle draw. Students lined up, one after another, bracing for their monster upgrades. Cues screaming, skin steaming, nerves frying, the Pain Olympics had begun. He paused, took a breath, and jabbed the needle in like ripping off a bandage. Moments passed, no screams, no heat, just nothing. The teacher raised an eyebrow. Even he wasn't sure what just happened. Wong Tong swaggered over, smugness turned up to 11, ready to mock. She circled like a vulture, tossing insults like confetti at a pity party. She had a habit of picking on the quiet ones, and Ehai was a favorite target. Then came a jolt. His mind lit up with a system screen that screamed power. Tension spiked. He warned her to move, but she wasn't buying the act. Teeth clenched, energy rising. He gave one last warning, quiet but serious. Then, boom, awakening hit like a storm, and it wasn't just any power. Wong got front row seats to a shockwave and a personal flight lesson. The classroom turned wind tunnel. Students went flying. A few lost lunch. 2 stood firm, eyes narrowing. Someone just jumped to the top tier. The system flashed again, a class template unlocked, nuclear breath, evolution, and more. His pulse spiked. Eyes flickered with eerie blue. Definitely not standard issue. He glanced at his glowing hands, half expecting an instruction manual. Whispers buzzed. Was that really II? Did he just floor everyone with a look? Wong, the self-declared elite, was out cold, her flame lizard no match. Scratching his head, he chuckled. Maybe next time people would listen when he warned them. A school-wide broadcast blared, summoning every awakened third year to the testing hall for their official power rankings. In the testing hall, students queued up to step into glowing pods, while their stats lit up the big screen like player cards in a battle game. One guy from their class lucked out with a Speedblade insect bloodline. Yesterday's benchwarmer, today's class MVP Zhu had it all, level 9 martial skills and an ice dragon awakening. Everyone quietly handed him the future valedictorian crown. Miss Liu casually awakened a ghostly phoenix, a tier 4 bloodline so rare it could solo level a city. Suddenly, the provincial championship felt one-sided. Amid all the buzz, he quietly wondered why his power was labeled A-class when everyone else came with numbered tiers. When his name was called, the room stirred like he was about to headline a concert. After that earlier shockwave, the crowd watched him walk to the machine like a rising star about to drop their debut album. No one needed to be told to move aside. Strength talked loudest here, and his was starting to shout. The whispers flew fast. This guy wasn't normal. That kind of energy field didn't come from low-tier genes. The screen flashed his info, and then stopped. Name, class, and a whole lot of question marks. Class 7, Level 3 Martial Disciple. Bloodline, unknown. The class snickered. Level 3 in a mystery bloodline? Even toddlers in training pants might have ranked higher. He didn't flinch. Let them laugh. He had other plans. The test missing his true bloodline? That was part of the plan. Emperor Demon Ra liked to keep things dramatic. Instead, what popped up was something no one expected, an infinite monster template prompt. His system wasn't playing the same game as the others. With the right effort, he could unlock more templates than anyone, potentially turning him into a one-man monster army. He asked for time off to train. The teacher raised a skeptical brow. Study leave wasn't exactly a believable excuse. He laid it out plainly. He needed time, effort, and a bit of distance to catch up. The teacher sighed. Awakening was great and all, but his stats screamed repeat the year and try again. Emilius, he insisted with a gleam in his eye. Power and pressure made the perfect combo for growth. No lies, just fiery ambition. The teacher blinked, caught off guard by the intensity, then relented. Permission granted, but he'd be back next year, like it or not. With a grateful nod, he marched out. Destination, the warrior center in Incity. As he traveled, he ran the numbers. Between collateral and inheritance, he had $1 million+ to invest. Time to boost his rank and sink deeper with Emperor Demon Ra. The template normally started at 1% compatibility, but his showed 3, something extra had juiced it up. Apparently, the Awakening Serum had supercharged the template, slipping in 2 bonus points. In a world where training took years, paying for power-ups sounded way more efficient. Time to go serum shopping. He scanned in at the Warrior Center, wallet ready and hopes high. Since sensing with the template, he'd unlocked something wild. He could now sense life energy all around. Warriors nearby felt like walking bonfires, each bloodline roaring like a beast in a cage, and his heart raced, not from fear, but from a deep, monstrous itch to dominate. Emperor Demon Ra was king for a reason, but for now, he had to cage that monster and play rookie. One day, though, they'd all see what real monster royalty looked like. A sudden hand on his shoulder broke the moment. A friendly older warrior teased him gently. New power, wild senses, rookie energy. She seemed amused. He awkwardly admitted he was here for Jean's serums. Her smile hinted he'd just stepped into noob territory. She explained the catch. Serums worked, sure, but used too early, they'd lose kick fast. Most waited till they peaked. Basic serum, 400 grand, he gulped. Enhancement didn't come cheap. 5 serums max, he panicked. Maybe she knew someone who could cut him a deal. She handed him her card, Huang Yuli, level 4 martial disciple. A good word from her might shave off a few zeros. He thanked her like a gentleman and moved on. A quick trip later, and he was 1.5 million lighter with 4 serums in hand. He grabbed some starter gear with what cash he had left. Warrior life was pricey. He'd gone from middle-class comfort to barely scraping by in one afternoon. Back home, he jabbed the serum in. His blood roared like a caged beast had just been let loose. After all 4 injections, his template jumped from 3% to 7%. Not bad for a rookie. Physique stats climbed too, level 8 to 15 in one sitting. He'd just hit Martial Disciple level 7. It felt good, but he noticed the gains slowing. The stronger he got, the harder the climb. Still, skipping 3 years of grinding in a few minutes. Not bad, and he hadn't even tapped into Demon Ra's full power yet. With this power-up, he figured topping the entrance exams wasn't just a dream anymore. If the upgrade couldn't help him outpace the Brainiacs, it wasn't much of an upgrade. Either way, it was time to gear up for the Secret Realm. Secret Realms came in 6 flavors, E to S, and the higher the grade, the nastier the creatures lurking inside. S-level realms were a nightmare scenario, full of monsters that made Doomsday look like a picnic. He stepped into the city's 3rd E-level realm, surprised at how empty it felt. The place had clearly seen better days. Most treasures long gone. Only baby monsters left for newbies. With a casual scribble on the death waiver, he grabbed his entry pass like it was a theme park ride. The rift shimmered like a liquid mirror, 10 meters tall, glittering with white sparks like a cosmic lava lamp. Heart racing, he treated this first venture like step 1 in his monster-conquering saga. Without another thought, he launched himself into the unknown like an eager contestant on a game show. He hit the ground with both feet intact. Step 1, complete. Overhead, 3 massive planets loomed like a celestial poster, definitely not local skies. The textbooks had undersold it. This place was sci-fi wonderland levels of impressive. While admiring the scenery, something in the grass decided to ruin the moment. A floating, fanged furball, saber-toothed rabbit, first-tier menace, emerged with bad vibes and worse intentions. It launched like a bullet, fangs first, straight for his neck. Charming. Thanks to Emperor Demon Ra's senses, he'd seen it coming before the rabbit even twitched. He sidestepped with ease, no sweat. Momentum carried him into a swift grab and crunch. The bunny turned to ash, leaving behind a tiny, shiny core. One glance at the plain white core told him it was worth 1,000 quick cash compared to a month of desk work. But farming low-tier monsters wasn't going to cut it long-term. Time to level up the hunt. As if summoned by ambition, a second-tier corpse moth erupted from the earth, dramatic entrance and all. He smirked at the timing, drew his blade, and moved in for round 2. His sword struck true. Encyclopedia knowledge paid off. The belly was soft. The back was tank grade. A spray of toxic green blood hit the dirt, sizzling like acid on contact. The moth balled up and unleashed a whirlwind of slicing legs like an angry blender on legs. He launched into mountain fist mode without missing a beat. The punch landed like a wrecking ball, halting the corpse moth mid-charge. The moth fired off its fang missiles like it had a grudge. Surprise struck. Fangs weren't supposed to double as projectiles. He dodged just in time, putting some serious space between them. At his current level, this moth was clearly out of his league. He needed more than basic moves. His energy was running at half power, thanks to the shabby specs of his inherited body. When in doubt, cheat mode, Emperor Demon's Wrath, engaged. Instantly, blue-skinned, scale-armed, and beast-clawed, he looked like a villain halfway through a power-up sequence. With claws out, he snatched the moth's face like it owed him rent. His grip crushed the shell like a soda can. Game over. One clean sweep and the moth got filleted from the gut up. With a power stat of 21, second-tier bugs felt more like practice dummies. As the transformation faded, steam hissed from his pores like a deflating pressure cooker. One glance at his half-melted sword, and regret hit hard, 250k down the drain on what might have been a glorified letter opener. A loud growl reminded him this was his first real fight. 0 snacks, full hunger bar. Mid-crisis, a savory aroma floated by like a tease. Eyes locked on the glowing green core and his body practically screamed, "Eat me!" He shrugged and downed it like a protein shot. The core melted into a hot rush, like downing gene serum with extra fizz. His cells were partying. Bonus round, his bloodline sync jumped by 0.3%. Not bad for bug guts. He did the math. One pricey serum gave 1%, but this freebie core gave 0.3%. Monster hunting just became budget-friendly. A few more cores and he'd outpace serum stats. Rabbit loot might even top a full percent. That realization hit hard. He'd basically been setting cash on fire with those gene serums. Instead of sulking, he fired up. Tonight, every monster core was going down. After a bit of focus, he tapped into life magnetism, scanning the surroundings like a biological radar. By noon the next day, he strolled out of the secret realm, bag bulging with freshly harvested monster cores. While walking, he figured anything beyond 9% compatibility was just overkill. Might as well sell the extra cores for some pocket change. At the trading post, he casually unloaded 20 white and 4 green monster cores, leaving the clerk blinking like he'd just seen a unicorn in school uniform. Following the rules, he paid the 10% tax, swapped 5 whites for every green, and still walked away with nearly 200k in kingdom coins. With just 9 days till the big exam, he dropped back into the 4th D-tier realm like it was just another school errand. A warrior team had already set up camp, casually mentioning they were nearly done with their blood jade flower gig. The captain nodded, recalling their last visit, found the flower's location, but Chun got banged up and had to sit this one out. Some grumbling followed. Rules were rules, and with 5 members, they were one short of legal entry. Lin waved a hand toward the newcomer, an agency recruit named Patterzilla, apparently a level 9 martial disciple with a name right out of a kaiju flick. The recruit gave a polite nod, privately seething over the 100k coin scam it took to score a fake ID just to get in. One teammate squinted at the name, Patterzilla. The guy just shrugged. Copyright's no joke. Lenny rolled with it, just a code name anyway. The newbie got a firm warning not to drag the team down. At least the expectations were clear, beats getting blamed mid-fight. Gear packed, the squad piled into an off-roader and zipped straight into the realm's shimmering rift. In this round, the realm dropped them into an endless desert. The mission? Hunt down a rare bloom called the CO flower. Desert Edition, Take 2. They'd already scouted the blood jade flower's turf. Unfortunately, a tier 2 monster with champion genes had claimed it. Their vehicle now tore through sandstorms like a dune buggy on a mission. Bouncing in the back seat, he noted the realm's weird flexibility. Last time was a jungle, now it was Mad Max. Sand Edition? Clearly not just one world at play. Then the sand stirred, mole-like monsters started tailing the vehicle like tiny land torpedoes, ready to pounce. Huda, the team's silent type, responded by casually flinging a handful of crystal iron darts. The darts didn't miss, every single one nailed a mole right between the eyes. As the energy surged in, the mole monsters' heads gave up the ghost, shattering with grim efficiency. Soon after, the vehicle rolled to a halt by a tiny oasis that looked too peaceful to be real. This tranquil spot was home to the blood jade flower they were after, hidden in plain sight. Knowing the local monsters had ears like satellites, they ditched the car and proceeded quietly on foot. Lin got straight to business. Xiaoxia would lob a shockwave grenade to flush the monster out of hiding. Xiaowu and Huda were sent off to rig the traps, already bickering about who carried the heavier gear. Old Lu got the nod for covering fire. His grin said he'd been waiting all day for that. Lin called dibs on the front line, because of course he did. Patterzilla was told to hang back and keep watch. He nodded, relieved no one expected heroics just yet. The squad snapped into action, grenades whistling skyward and bursting like thunderclaps across the oasis. The explosive ruckus stirred up monster energy like spilled coffee at a wasp nest. Trouble was incoming. A deafening rumble followed, and out barreled a 10-meter earth dragon, wrecking trees like bowling pins. Huda barked a warning at the rookie. Something big and angry was headed their way. Traps triggered in sync, flooding the area with knockout gas strong enough to drop a monster twice its size. Lin, he took his cue, soaring in with a sword the size of a car door and slicing the dragon clean, fountain style. The team exhaled, seemed like the beast was down for good. Lin, he wiped the blade, ready to chase down the real prize, the blood jade fruit. The dragon wasn't done. Its paw shot up with a vengeance, aiming to flatten Lin He. Luckily, Lin He was ready, reflexes on point. He hit back with full force, using a fierce fist technique that finally put the dragon down. For real this time. Jaws dropped. Who knew a first-tier fighter could hit like that? Just like that, the newbie got upgraded from deadweight to MVP. With the dragon down, the path cleared. They made it to the heart of the oasis where the elusive fruit shimmered. The blood jade fruit was basically a golden ticket, ultra rare, body boosting, and almost mythical outside of legends. Just then, he was halfway to a victory dance, when Huda went full traitor, stabbing him in the gut with a poison-tipped dagger. The rest froze, eyes wide, totally blindsided by the betrayal. Lenny lashed out instinctively, but Huda ducked and bolted like he'd planned it all along. Then came the bald guy, sneering like a comic book villain and making it obvious he wanted the loot. The name dropped. Hopong, infamous scavenger of Secret Realm spoils, and now their personal nightmare. He staggered, hand on his wound, glaring at Huda. Poison, blade, betrayal, and questions swirling louder than the pain. Yi, cool as ever, casually pointed out the obvious. Someone had left breadcrumbs on the throwing darts. Huda scoffed, mocking Yi for tagging along instead of cramming for exams with the rest of the same students. Yi cracked his neck, unbothered. Top rank was still his, even with midterm bloodshed on the side. Hopong, clearly triggered, launched a dart at Yi with zero chill. Yi caught it midair, insulted the volume level, and hinted it was time to take out the trash. Without missing a beat, he crushed the dart like a snack wrapper. Hopong raised a brow, impressed but bloodthirsty, called dibs on Yi's head. Huda responded with a storm of darts, desperate to stay relevant. Yi's eyes flared with fire. This wasn't his first messy dance in the secret realm. He slipped backward just in time, letting the darts zip past harmlessly. Huda spun in midair, boot blades out, legs swinging down like a guillotine. Yi sidestepped, tapped his forehead, and summoned a glowing blue finger cannon. The energy blast tore through Huda's chest like hot steel through butter. Huda dropped like a sack of regrets. Everyone stood frozen, momentarily forgetting they were mid-fight. Hopong's jaw dropped. Gene techniques? This wasn't some average crammer. Yi smirked and dropped the name. Emperor de Manhwa, royal blood, deadly hobbies. Hopong backed up fast. Yi's killing aura wasn't bluffing, and even the air got heavier. Muscles bulged, body expanded. Hopong leveled up into a terrifying rage beast. With tank-like fury, Hopong thundered toward Yi, wine howling in his wake. Yi ducked, flipped aside, and fired another blue beam, this time targeting the ankle. Hopong howled, slamming his fist down with the force of a collapsing mountain. Yi danced around the blow like it was a beginner's swing at a carnival game. Even Yi raised a brow. Apparently, beast ankles weren't impressed by atomic breath. The brute went full wrecking ball, flailing like Demolition Day with hands the size of tree trunks. Yi popped up behind Hopong like a shadow with bad intentions. His fists lit up with nuclear energy, glowing with serious overkill vibes. He pummeled Hopong repeatedly, each hit more radioactive than the last. Even with all his fancy upgrades, Hopong's body wasn't built for this kind of meltdown. Organs began turning to sludge, and things got gross fast. Hopong squirmed in pain, shouting curses and throwing shade at Gene warriors. Yi shrugged it off. Hatter's gonna hate, but this one wasn't worth the punch count. 9 days zipped past, landing on the Summer Kingdom's biggest event, the national entrance exams, now streaming live. Held in a flashy arena, the exams kicked off tournament style. One-on-one battles over 3 days. Prelims meant 3 matches per student. Only the toughest got a shot at the finals. The host got dramatic, future of humanity, no pressure, then called the games open. Students filed into the arena, nerves high, ambition higher. Arena 6 lit up with a buzz, Yi versus Wang Tongtong. But Yi, nowhere in sight. The host started the countdown to disqualification. Wang Tongtong looked pleased. Her rival's no-show made revenge a little boring. The crowd grumbled, roasting Yi as a coward hiding under his bed. The whistle blew, time up, name about to be called, then the air shifted. Before anyone could finish a sentence, an energy wave swept the arena. Heads turned skyward. Someone was actually flying. The audience freaked. What kind of freak of nature just flew into the scene? The figure crashed down with a boom, shaking the whole platform like a mic drop. Wang Tongtong squinted through the dust, still trying to figure out what just happened. Then a foot came flying straight for her face. She was launched off the stage, the match ending in one well-placed kick. He watched her fly, casually noting that he narrowly avoided repeating a school year. Wang Tongtong was launched unconscious off the arena as the host declared, Yi the winner. Yi shrugged, thinking the whole thing was way too easy. The crowd went wild, amazed by the one-kick knockout and Yi's epic entrance. The system flashed stats, Yi's physique at 226 and 20% compatibility. Proudly, he credited Captain Lin's blood jade fruit for his physique boost, promising more to come. After that, Yi breezed through his next opponents without breaking a sweat. 3 fights, 3 swift wins, each sealed with a single decisive kick. Fans nicknamed him One Kickman, cheering every knockout. The host confirmed Yi's clean sweep and spot in round 3. A crowd swarmed Yi for contacts and school recommendations. Even a reporter got curious. His eyes gleamed at the question about dream universities. He confidently named Huadu University as his target. The crowd scattered in disbelief. Huadu was elite, the ultimate warrior's dream. Only the top students from cities like his made it to Wadu, but Yi was ready to prove himself. An examiner spotted Yi's progress and requested a retest of his martial level. The scan revealed a leap from level 3 to 9.5 a month. Frequent visits to E-tier's secret realms explained it. Yi explained the secret realms were training grounds, fulfilling his late father's advice to surpass humanity. The mention of breaking genetic locks stunned the examiner, who immediately called for a report. The examiner hurried away, feeling the weight of intense scrutiny closing in. Other examinees were live streams to cheer their children. Scrolling his phone, Yi realized there are even live streams conducting street interviews on the parent and friend of other examinees, which making him a little jealous, thinking he's really an orphan and no one cared to cheer him on. But little did he knew, there is his teacher who was grinning at the TV screen to cheer him from a broadcast. On the same tournament day, Yi stepped back into the arena, calm and ready. His next challenger was Liu Xian, a fierce level 8 disciple with rare bloodline and warrior parents. He glanced at Liu Xian with casual boredom, signaling him to start. Liu Xian bristled at the challenge, anger fueling his next move. He unleashed his bloodline power and thunderclap claw, accelerating like a turbocharged beast. Claws sliced through the air with sparks and sonic booms, aimed to finish Yi in one strike. What happened next caught him completely off guard. Just as his arm swung in, Yi caught it with ease. He dismissed the effort, noting it paled compared to a certain bald opponent's power. Without missing a beat, Yi struck Luo Xian's head with a powerful palm strike. The impact knocked Luo Xian out cold instantly. He smirked, wondering aloud where the real challengers had gone. The host confirmed another one-hit knockout, this time against seeded player Luo Xian. Cameras swarmed Yi from every angle as the live broadcast exploded with amazement. Luo Xian went down in seconds and Yi's strength felt leagues ahead. In this martial world, Yi's dominance ignited fierce excitement across the crowd. Chuxia's eyes burned with resolve watching Luo Xian carried off, fists tightening as his own resolve deepened. His thoughts were clear. Yi was the one to beat, and Chuxia was ready for that final showdown. Asked by the live broadcast, Wado University's admissions chief ordered Yi's info delivered in 30 minutes flat. While Yi wrapped up, the next round kicked off with a fierce battle between two popular top-tier beauties, turning up the heat and the crowd's excitement. Kai Shouling, a petite golden pigtail beauty, tossed her hair and shot a teasing glare, mocking Lu Qingzhu's calm, robotic demeanor. Lu Qingzhu stayed cool and silent, offering only a slight bow as if Kai Shouling's challenge barely registered. The whistle blew, officially starting the showdown. Radiating level 9 disciple power, Kai Shouling struck fast, sweeping a fierce kick aimed at Lu Qingzhu's neck. Unfazed, Lu Qingzhu waved her palms, thickening the air around her into a sticky swamp-like force field. Kai Shaoling's steel-strong kick hit the dense air and felt like sinking into fluffy cotton instead of flesh. The slowdown was so dramatic, cameras caught Kai Shaoling's leg moving in slow motion, losing all momentum. Furious, Kai Shaoling wrapped herself in martial energy, cutting air resistance, blurring into a shadow as she circled, waiting to strike Lu Qingzhu's side. Just 3 inches from Lu Qingzhu's waist, Kai Shaoling's palm suddenly froze, unable to close the gap. Trapped, Kai Shaoling's hand was caught by a sudden vacuum in the air, stopping her from pulling back. Lu Qingzhu finally moved, her slender fingers glowing with a jade-like shimmer. Livestream viewers gasped. Lu Qingzhu had unleashed the legendary Hanwen Jade Finger, a mastery rarely seen at her level, enough to secure direct entry to Wadu University. Kai Shaoling sensed the Jade Finger's overwhelming power and knew she had to unleash her trump card, or lose. She activated her Shadow Tiger King bloodline, sending a fierce shockwave tearing through the air. Instead of blocking, Lu Qingzhu slid back gracefully, creating space. The examiners held their breath, impressed by Kai Shaoling's fierce but risky bloodline control. Her potential was undeniable. Kai Shaoling's body trembled under the strain of her bloodline as she gasped, daring Lu Qingzhu to reveal her Phantom Crow bloodline next. Lu Qingzhu finally broke her silence, signaling that the fight had reached its peak. Fueled by rage, Kai Shaoling attacked like a fierce tiger, her blood energy surging as she launched a brutal palm strike at Lu Qingzhu. Lu Qingzhu met the strike gracefully, her hands flowing like piano keys, weaving invisible threads that drained Kai Shaoling's power to nothing. When her attack faltered, Kai Shaoling poured more blood energy in, breaking the unseen bonds around Lu Qingzhu. Launching herself into the air, Kai Shaoling struck with a fierce kick. Lu Qingzhu responded swiftly, reigniting her Xian Huang technique with the shimmering Jade Finger. Their powerful techniques collided, the Jade Finger against the kick, sending shockwaves that cracked the arena floor. Dust billowed as the arena shook from their clash. Thousands held their breath, eyes glued to the unfolding battle, eager for the outcome. When the dust settled, Kai Shaoling appeared first. Bloodied and staggering, she collapsed, drained of energy. Lu Qingzhu remained poised, her slight hair tousled the only sign of battle on her ethereal form. Lu Qingzhu's raw skill outshone Kai Shaoling's top-tier bloodline, instantly sparking a frenzy in the live broadcast. Viewers marveled, whispering about Lu Qingzhu's rare Phantom Crow bloodline in City's top scores. Her match made the rest feel like background noise. The final 8 emerged, 2 from City First High, 3 from Chuzhou, 2 from City Second High, and 3 from Qingfeng Private High. The top 8 finals kicked off as IE stepped forward to draw his match. His lot revealed an A. A towering, muscular opponent named Shen Guan drew the same letter, fate set for a showdown. Qing Guang noted their match was second and suggested watching the first, Luo Shi vs. Chuzhou, displayed on the arena's big screen. Shen Guan chatted casually about Luo's talent and ambition for Huadi University, but doubted her against Chuzhou, who shared her school and city ties. The host declared the first top 8 match winner, Chuzhou from City First High. News reached Qingfeng Private High's principal, who grumbled at the early loss. The question of Luo Ji's skill came up, sparking a confident smirk from Shen Guan. Shen Guan bragged about being a level 3 martial arts president, claiming he alone outmatched his 2 teammates combined. His attention shifted to Yi He, admitting she felt like his toughest opponent in the exam. He sensed a fierce hidden power within her, like a dormant volcano ready to erupt. The moment came. Both stepped forward to face each other in the arena. Calm and collected, Yi He and Shen Guan approached the battleground. The second quarterfinal match was declared, Shen Guan against Yi He, crowd buzzing with anticipation. The Anking combat trials heated up, the quarterfinals now a fierce fight for university glory. At the referee's signal, both charged, fists crashing like thunder in midair. Their clash sent shockwaves rippling through the arena, shaking the air with raw power. Blood leaked from Shen Guan's nose, but his grin only grew. He found the nosebleed strangely thrilling, a sign of power awakening. A golden aura enveloped him, shimmering like a shield, ready to test Yi He's full strength. Yi He stayed silent, eyes flashing, calm, but ready to unleash a storm. Shen Guan snorted and stomped, cracking the floor, then unleashed his family's ancestral art, the form intent fist. His attack, antler strike, crashed forward like sharp staghorns charging full force. The move was lightning fast, almost impossible to track. He took a brutal hit to the chest in a blink. A gasp escaped her lips, blood splattering from the impact. She was thrown dozens of meters, crashing heavily at the arena's edge. Shen Guan pressed on, calling on bear rotation. His already huge frame seemed to grow even more. He charged like a falling mountain, aiming to crush Yi with raw power. Yi crossed her arms to block the avalanche of force, shattering the floor beneath them on impact. Suddenly, Shen Guan pulled back his fist, catching a breath. In a flash, he appeared behind Yi He, ready to strike. Seizing her waist, Shen Guan roared and launched her skyward with explosive strength. Shen Guan crouched low, face twisting into a predator's snarl, growling like a tiger ready to pounce. With a burst, he tackled Yi midair with full force. Their collision sparked a transformation. Shen Guan dove like an eagle, slicing air with shock waves trailing behind. He crashed down like a meteor, leaving a crater as dust exploded around them. The non-stop assault left Yi reeling, unable to mount a counterattack. Shen Guan landed confidently, arms crossed, laughing with satisfaction. Medics readied themselves nearby. That combo would leave any fighter half dead. Suddenly, Shen Guan stiffened, a chill creeping up his spine. It felt like facing an ancient beast. His instincts screamed retreat. From the settling dust, a huge scaled arm rose, commanding attention. He revealed a monstrous form, towering like a humanoid Godzilla. Her voice rumbled, acknowledging Shen Guan's strength and the honor of this reveal. Shen Guan's eyes widened in disbelief, stunned by the rare beast form awakening. The beast form was a legendary transformation, unlocking ancient power within the bloodline. He never expected a prodigy here could rival someone like Lu Qingzhu. As Yi He stabilized, energy monitors blared alarms, tracking awakened power surging wildly. Radiation spiked, maxing out monitors. Proctors quickly deployed energy barriers to contain the surge. The crowd erupted in awe and whispers, baffled by Yi's unknown, classified bloodline. He noted the murmurs. No one here knew of the Imperial Megalithon or his awakened bloodline. Shen Guan's nose bled anew, his shield strained under radiation. Time to end this quickly. Roaring, Shen Guan awakened, golden lightning patterns flaring. A proctor whispered, a rare tier 3 royal bloodline. What was happening here? Golden light engulfed him. He grew nearly 3 meters tall, a towering war god in the arena's center. He unleashed Serpent Strike, fluid, deadly, a serpentine punch from his martial lineage. Yi He countered with mountain-breaking fist, simple in form but crushing as a landslide. Their fists met in a thunderous blast, sending shockwaves that pushed spectators back. Both had clearly surpassed past limits. Shen Guan was slammed backward, his famed golden hide cracking under the pressure, blood seeping through the cracks. A last-second energy shift saved his arm from shattering completely. It marked the first time Shen Guan was outright overpowered head-on. Instead of retreating, he surged forward once more. His arms coiled like serpents, trying to fling Yi through the air. But Yi stayed rooted, unmoved as if the mountain itself. Switching gears, Shen Guan crouched, muscles wound tight like springs. He exploded upward, legs ripping through the ground beneath him. The arena shook as he executed Elephant Stomp, a fierce form intent move. The stomp rocked the arena, shockwaves cracking the stage like an earthquake. Dust settled, leaving the crowd silent and stunned. The beast form remained unmoved, towering without a hint of falter. Shen Guan's voice stayed steady as he pulled his leg free, ready to strike back. Blue energy crackled around his fist, warping the air with heat like a furnace ready to flare. Just before the strike, Shen Guan dropped to his knees with a thud, surrendering unexpectedly. He froze mid-step, clearly caught off guard. The energy surged and withdrew. Rules forbade attacking after a surrender. His dark blue scales faded as he reverted to normal, the transformation undone. The referee declared He the winner. Online streams erupted with excitement. In a world ruled by power, the epic fight ended surprisingly in surrender. Overnight, Yi became a sensation, followers flooding in non-stop. Clips of the monstrous rival and the legendary punch went viral everywhere. Fans declared Yi unbeatable this year, way beyond Lu Qingzhu's league. Meanwhile, Xing Feng's principal clenched his fists, frustrated by Luo's failure and all bets on Shen Guan. The principal glared fiercely as Shen Guan exited, fuming over the money spent and threatening no university until debts were paid. Shen Guan's calm hand on the principal's shoulder sent a surprising chill through him, freezing the harsh words midair. Shen Guan admitted the last punch was too much, conceding to protect himself. He promised to repay the academy but warned against threatening someone stronger. The principal swallowed nervously, conceding that Shen Guan had a valid point. The tournament sped ahead, with 3 of the last 4 fighters from Anking First Academy and just 1 from Second Academy. The lone Second Academy fighter faded into the background as the crowd focused on Anking First stars, whose headmaster wore a triumphant grin. The semi-final draw kicked off. He stepped forward and revealed his slip. Letter A. Turning away, he caught a sharp gaze. Lu Qingzhu, eyes gleaming like obsidian, also holding the letter A too. The stadium exploded with cheers. The live stream blew up. This was Awakens' most hyped entrance exam fight ever. Fans screamed online, urging Yi to dominate. Others defended Lu Qingzhu, noting her mastery of rare techniques and victories against top-tier opponents. Her full power was still a mystery. Fans recalled Shen Guan as Tier 3 Royal 2, beaten only after Yi's awakening mid-fight. Lu's Tier 4 blood and skill made her Yi's toughest test yet. The internet buzzed with debates over who'd win, but the match would soon settle it. The semifinals officially kicked off. Yi versus Lu Qingzhu. The referee's signal set the fight in motion. White mist swirled as Yi's aura flared, entering his awakened bloodline state, distorting the air with raw power. Lu Qingzhu's techniques were more than strong. They were unpredictable and nearly untouchable, making brute force useless. Her sharp strategy made prolonged fights risky for Yi, so he decided to go all out from the very first strike. Lu Qingzhu stayed calm, silently challenging Yi's intensity with a steely stare. Suddenly, Yi unleashed a massive steam burst, engulfing the arena in thick mist. The crowd was left in confusion, as thick mist obscured the fight entirely. The host hyped the scene, Liu Qingzhu versus Dark Horse Yi questioning how she'd respond, and if his bloodline had truly awakened. Yi focused on Lu's silhouette through the haze, aware that her superior skills and elusive moves made any mistake costly. Her high battle IQ meant drawn-out fights favored her, so Yi bet everything on a single decisive strike, no room for error. Yi's fist surged with raw power, unleashing a devastating strike meant to crush anything in its path. Lu Qingzhu blinked at the sudden onslaught, swiftly crossing her arms to raise a shimmering defensive barrier. Yi's speed blurred reality, leaving ghostly afterimages that made it hard to track his true position. A surprise kick whipped through the air, sparking whispers. Was he cheating with some sneaky move? Qingzhu was caught off guard, fists more like a steel whip disguised in plain sight. With a fierce yell, Yi reappeared overhead, eyes blazing, ready to strike with unstoppable force. The crowd buzzed, some called Yi ruthless, others praised his tactical mind. After all, no honor in holding back. Forced to defend again, Lu Qingzhu's flow faltered, tension thick as the audience held their breath. Mercy was off the table. Yi's relentless barrage battered her relentlessly. No breaks, no mercy. Spectators saw the chase was hopeless. Lu Qingzhu was trapped in a storm of unyielding strikes. Then came a puzzling pause. Yi's energy shoved her back, seemingly granting a rare opening. No counterattack came. Instead, the fierce claw of an imperial magic beast lunged forward. Yi wasn't about to slip up. A wind blade sliced through the air, merciless and precise. Lu Qingzhu's eyes widened. This was no ordinary strike, but a palm attack charged with lethal energy. She sprung into the air, dodging with graceful, almost ethereal agility. A sharp crash echoed as claws slammed into her shimmering defense. Yi hovered above, a wicked grin spreading as his hands swirled with roaring power. No escape this time. A storm of attacks rained down, fierce and unrelenting. Lu Qingzu doubted her survival. How did Yi keep this pace? His stamina was insane. She relied on her own secret arts, the illusory shadow and Jadefinger offense. With either technique she might escape Yui's grip, if only he gave her the chance. But Yi wasn't about to relent. If this kept up, Lu Qingzu would soon be out cold. Cornered, Lu Qingzu stopped dodging. Time to fight back. A single feather flickered to life on her fist. Yi's eyes narrowed. Finally, her ace revealed. The battle was about to turn. Her trump card was ready to play. A sharp cry rang out, marking Lu Qingzu's bloodline awakening. The netherworld sparrow took flight. A humanoid bird shape lifted gracefully, wings beating powerfully. Purple feathers fluttered down like confetti from those mighty wings. For the first time, Lu Qingzu's magical beast bloodline emerged. Her netherworld sparrow revealed. Yi smirked, knowing this form meant uncontrollable power, just what he'd been waiting for. Holding back so far, Yi grinned. Now was the time to unleash full power and finish this. Suddenly, Lu Qingzu slipped behind him, catching Yi off guard. Blending Xian yellow martial arts with her awakened bloodline, she struck with precision. Not backing down, Yi's imperial magic beast bloodline flared as he unleashed an atomic explosion punch. Boom! Echoed through the arena. The shockwave rocked the arena, rattling bones and shaking spectators. Gasps rippled. The blast's force blinded many, eyes squeezed shut in awe. Lu Qingzu gasped, breath caught by the fierce impact. Her eyes widened, a bead of sweat betraying the rising tension. Though standing firm, Yi's body sparked electricity. The ground fractured beneath like a shattered web. Dark blue scales crept over Yi's face as destructive energy pulsed from his mouth. Danger surged in Lu Qingzu's gut. Something big was about to happen. The beast forms gathered energy, power crackling in the air. His spine rose, glowing as it soaked up raw power. Energy funneled into Yi's mouth, his spine lit up a fierce blue. Then, a deadly atomic beam blasted forth, radiating pure destruction. Lu Qingzu locked onto the incoming deadly beam. She folded her wings tightly, bracing for impact like a living shield. The energy wave crashed over her in a blinding instant. In this critical moment, her nether phoenix bloodline flared to life. Black feathers shimmered like crystals, fracturing the blue beams into scattered light, mirroring and redirecting the attack with dazzling precision. Light burst from Lu Qingzu's black sphere form, scattering in every direction like fireworks. As the light threatened to escape the arena, examiners scrambled to intervene, too late to stop the spectacle. Suddenly, a golden shield shimmered, wrapping the whole arena in a protective glow. Beams of light vanished instantly on contact with the golden martial energy, absorbed like magic. The energy seemed to dissolve, leaving no trace behind. The source of the golden aura was revealed. Huang Qing, mayor of Anqing. Examiners greeted him, but Huang Qing waved them off, hinting a new strongest student was about to emerge. 10 seconds later, the atomic exhale ceased, and Lu Qingzu coughed up blood. Her purple-black wings, having absorbed the atomic blast, now hung torn and melting. Only her quick use of martial energy transformation saved her from total destruction. Born into the Lu family, she carried their heavy expectations, forced to fight to uphold their name. Despite praise, she never cared much for glory. Sometimes, even she wondered why she kept fighting. The endless competition felt pointless, like running a race with no finish line. Silently she pushed on, driven more by duty than desire, worn down but unyielding. The opponent's strength was undeniable. Losing seemed inevitable against such overwhelming power. She saw an opening and hoped he would capitalize and end it quickly. Lu Qingzu tapped and struck, but he stood firm, taking the hit without flinching. Her eyes widened in surprise. Why wasn't he dodging? Yi's eyebrows silently questioned her fighting spirit's absence. His stance said she hadn't given her all. Had she even taken this seriously? His message was clear. No tricks, just a fair fight. Time to focus. Making her froze in place with eyes wide open. Then Yi's arm whipped forward, sending a fierce gust straight at her face. He urges her to face him seriously. She was blasted back, but Yi pounced, raining down powerful punches relentlessly. Arms raised, disheveled and overwhelmed, she faced a brutal beating live to hundreds of thousands watching. She meant to concede, but his relentless chase sparked her fury. Eyes blazing, Lu Qingzu struck back, sending Yi flying. Yi's eyes burned with challenge. If she wanted respect, she'd better fight for it. Ashes whipped around as huge purple-black wings unfurled, her face marked by strange patterns. A yellow tail feather flared, and her beast form awakened with a fierce battle cry. In beast form, Lu Qingzu radiated icy confidence, ready to end the fight with full power. Violet-black wings burst open, whipping up a storm. Strange markings spread across her face, tail feathers fluttered, and a fierce avian cry echoed through the arena. Yi smirked, clearly enjoying the fight now that the beast had shown itself to be left behind. Yi activated glowing blue energy, his weapons humming atomic power, pure destruction on legs. This was his signature fusion, Godzilla-style power mixed with martial arts, dubbed nuclear radiance mode. The ground exploded under him, blasting Yi missile-fast toward Lu Qingzu. Time to turn up the heat. Lu Qingzu stood firm, wings snapping open wide. She pulled in air currents, conjuring a spiraling storm of ghostly energy that swallowed the arena as it surged toward Yi. Unfazed, Yi charged like a torpedo straight into the swirling storm. Inside, a massive atomic blast tore through the storm as he surged forward with unstoppable force. Her face shifted, eerie patterns deepening to crimson purple. A piercing cry burst forth, her bloodline's spectral avian howl unleashed. The sonic wave bent the air, rippling through the arena like a shockwave. The blast hit him hard, atomic armor flickering under the sonic assault. Without his Godzilla lineage, he'd have been shredded inside out. But he wasn't done, ready to scream back and turn up the volume. His spine lit up as atomic power surged. Ultimate move activated. Atomic breath full throttle. Determined, Liu Qingzu dropped defense and poured every ounce of strength into attack. Losing wasn't an option. This fight had to produce a clear winner. She launched her ultimate Jade Core Strike fused with the secret spectral Blood Lance. A blazing blue energy column shot toward her like divine judgment. Her glowing jade fingertip condensed crimson energy as she slashed into the atomic beam, wings thrashing fiercely behind her. The forces collided, triggering a cataclysmic blast that shook the arena and rattled the sky. The host panicked. His power was way beyond what two rookies should handle. The mayor's face darkened as he sprang into action. Losing either prodigy would devastate the city and beyond. Calling out, the mayor summoned 3 massive stone walls infused with his aura, erupting violently to block the clash. Moments later, the stone walls shattered under a blinding white flash that engulfed the arena. The crowd erupted in chaos. No one expected such a massive blast. Whispers spread, those were the mayor's walls. Without him, the crowd might have been caught in the blast. Amid the smoky arena, the mayor's grim face reflected his swift but insufficient defense. No one foresaw 2 such freakishly powerful contenders. Injury here meant more than just a loss. It was heartbreak for all. At the arena's center, Liu Qingzu was badly injured, blood trailing down her arm. She sank to one knee, scorched and battered, her proud form now shattered. Her beast power gone, she refused to quit, still fighting on sheer will. That's when he stepped in, blocking her path. Standing unscathed, the contrast was harsh. Liu Qingzu's shock grew. Her final strike seemed to have no effect. He looked down calmly, warning that without clearing the radiation inside, she was doomed. Frozen, she barely held back tears, overwhelmed by the unfairness of it all. Her fight wasn't meant to be this brutal. The relentless pressure felt like bullying. He knelt down, locking eyes with her unflinchingly. He questioned if she truly hated fighting or just refused to admit her hunger for victory, evident in her desperate attack. She could argue, but deep down she knew he was right. She wanted to win that moment. That desire made her reckless. Yet she'd always hated fighting, wishing to lose quickly. What was this new feeling? In that final clash, a new thrilling rush took hold, fighting purely for herself. He placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Her clouded mind cost her the fight. Without pause, he absorbed the nuclear radiation still inside her. She watched as her wounds and radiation faded away quickly. Meeting her gaze, he admitted sincerely she was still his strongest opponent. A rare challenge was offered, no distractions, just a pure battle, tempting a rematch. His words left her cheeks burning with surprise. Smoke cleared at last, cameras snapping focus on the arena's heart. The host erupted with excitement. First semifinal done. Ai of Angxing First High took the win. Soon, Chuzhou also secured his win. The champions' duel was set. Final showdown time. The host boomed out the matchup, Yi versus Chuzhou, both from Angxing First High. Livestream numbers soared toward 500 million. The Anking tournament finale kicked off at the referee's call. Chuzhou readied himself, palms pressing as a chilling longsword took shape, pure bloodline power manifesting. Though Yi had toppled Liu Qingzu, he stayed sharp, wary of Chuzhou's famed battle intellect. Chuzhou's gaze sharpened. With a step forward, he activated the elusive 7-star movement. His form blurred into afterimages, closing distance in a blink. Hundreds of icy blades sliced through the air, trapping Yi. Unfazed, he tracked Chuzhou's true form and aimed to smash everything instead. Fist clenched, muscles coiled tight, eerie blue energy surged. The atomic detonation fist was fully charged. One punch sent the ground trembling. Shock waves of atomic force radiated outward, scorching a wide radius. Chuzhou recoiled, stunned by raw power. No subtlety, just pure, overwhelming blasts. No one at Chuzhou's level could tank that hit head-on. Could anyone their age trade blows with Yi and walk away? Shenwan was proof it was unlikely. But Chuzhou refused to quit. If close quarters failed, he'd wear Yi down from distance. His bloodline flared, frostworm awakening unleashed crystalline scales, golden slit pupils, and twin obsidian horns. A massive frostworm materialized behind him, wings stretching wide like a spectral storm. Ice pulse unleashed, a frozen wind howled, spawning towering spikes that surged like a tidal wave toward Yi. Summoning a mountain of ice out of thin air? Yeah, that was next level insane. The Frostworm bloodline was pure god tier. Fans roared for Ice Brother to take down the evil overlord. Encased in Chuzhou's bloodline-crafted heavy eyes, Yi stayed tense. He knew the fight was far from over, though the Frostworm power was draining him. Suddenly the crowd gasped as the ice mountain began melting before their eyes. Then a brilliant blue pillar of energy shot from within the eyes, aiming straight at Chuzhou. Despite his vigilance, Chuzhou was momentarily shocked by the sudden counterattack. Reflexively, he raised an ice pillar to catapult himself away from the incoming beam. The atomic beam collided with the examiner's energy shield, rippling fiercely across its surface. The towering ice mountain melted fast, crumbling under the blistering heat. A deep blue figure rose from the melting glacier, untouched by water that vanished instantly, fully awakened in a monstrous Godzilla form. Chuzhou's breath slowed, eyes bitter. There was no denying the massive power gap. He prepared his final move, the absolute peak of his martial arts, once reserved for Lu Qingzhu. Suddenly a massive ice greatsword appeared, the chilling blade pulsing with soul-cleaving intent, proof his bloodline had fully awakened. The mayor reacted first, stunned as if witnessing a legendary sword technique. Soul-cleaving sword intent, rare at any age. Without missing a beat, Chuzhou swung the sword with full force. Hot blood dripped from the wound, splattering the ground. The block came just in time, but a deep gash sliced to the bone, already glowing blue, flesh twitching with rapid regeneration. A better sword might have made a difference. Chuzhou's eyes widened in disbelief. Glancing at his shattered sword, he realized defeat was sealed. Doubts flickered. How much chance had he truly had all along? A smirk played on Yi's lips. His odds were better than a simp shot at the girl. Chuzhou shrugged helplessly, signaling surrender to the referee. Victory belonged to Xiao, the new champion of the Anqing finals. Cheers echoed. Brother Yi was something else. Chuzhou was strong, but Yi was in a league of his own. The livestream chat erupted. Underdog turned legend, the ultimate dark horse story. Aya's face dominated headlines citywide. Last year's last place had toppled the top student and won it all, possibly the strongest champion Anqing had ever seen. Outside, the crowd's roar crashed like a tidal wave, a mix of laughter and cheers filling the air. Millions across the city and streams witnessed the end of a grueling 3-day battle. The 24th Anqing martial trials crowned its champion, Yi from Anqing First High. Rumors flew. It climbed from the bottom ranks late but now stood at the top. A perfect comeback. Stepping forward calmly, gratitude was clear. His teacher's support during tough times had fueled his fierce will to fight. Watching live, Iggy's teacher wiped tears, burdened by guilt for missing such a talent until the last minute, feeling unworthy of the praise flooding in. Suddenly, the principal in the front row began waving wildly at E, grabbing everyone's attention. With both hands raised, he flashed a 2-0 sign, offering $2 million in scholarships to promote their school. E's eyes sparkled like dollar signs, silently thanking his alma mater and the sharp principal behind its success. Then came a straight-faced, shameless nod to himself, crediting hard work, relentless grind, and sheer smarts for the win. The system chimed in, congratulating the host on earning the top scholar title and unlocking a random template ability, Draw. Realizing top scholar was a legit title, E blinked, then grinned. An achievement system hidden in the template. Nice surprise. Meanwhile, in the stadium hallway, reporters swarmed IE, bombarding him with questions about pressure, rapid progress, and university plans. Exasperated, Ishii raised his hands in surrender, silently begging for a break and a bathroom. A sleazy reporter shoved a phone up, throwing odd questions about beauty contests and rivalries. Definitely not what I signed up for. Nope, no time for that. He took off like a rocket, dodging bizarre fan service questions. Free at last, he slipped into an empty basketball court to catch his breath in peace. A pamphlet wasn't a one-time thing. More unlocks awaited. This was next level. A calm voice broke the silence, quietly congratulating him on the top scholar title. Startled, he spun around, expecting yet another reporter to ambush him. The man removed his hat with a smile, assuring he wasn't media. He represented Capital Star. He shifted gears to something more secretive, the mysterious gene lock. Just 2 words, Ephros, gene lock. He hadn't unlocked any gene lock. His power came from monster templates. Could this stranger know his secret? Who was he? The term gene lock only surfaced once before, from his supposedly normal father, according to faint memories. Smirking, the man produced a file, questioning how Aya's taxi driver dad could know about something like a gene lock. Eyebrow raised, he wondered if his dad might secretly be an expert after all. The file was handed over. Capital Star had authorized this restricted document for him, thanks to his unique status. As he read, eyes widened. Project Prometheus, once a leader in gene research, was blacklisted after a secret incident. Its key researchers vanished. Gene lock was their boldest experiment. The file shut slowly as the truth sank in. His ordinary taxi-driving dad might have been a top Prometheus researcher, and he himself, a hidden experiment. Surprise much? The trenchcoat guy assured him the government wasn't after threats but transparency. He wanted to share the truth, worried EA might freak out or act rashly. Apparently, he joined a national cultivation program, with safety promised as the highest priority moving forward. He stared blankly, unimpressed, claiming he was way calmer than the official here. No joke. Suddenly, a smug grin replaced the deadpan look. Fame's a headache. Too much spotlight, too many questions. Society sure worships status. The official blinked, said nothing more, then just walked off like a ghost. Once alone, he rubbed hands with a gleam, finally free. This exam hall was huge. Top university offer, big scholarships, bonuses, and best of all, a fresh template draw. Without pause, the system popped up. He hit draw, dreaming big despite knowing legendary templates like Godzilla were 1 in a million. A dark vortex swirled, alive with beastly growls and roars, like a cursed vault stuffed with ancient monsters. His jaw dropped, eyes glued to the screen in awe. Moments later, the verdict arrived, D-class template. The template was a Colossus-type humanoid boasting bloodline powers, size swelling to 60 meters, steam blasts, evolutionary potential, though compatibility was just 1%. His eyes lit up, template abilities stacked. Jackpot? He imagined merging this Colossus with his Emperor Mothra template. Instant King of Monsters status, no contest. Elsewhere, in a quiet villa, Huolong hung up after canceling all missions, leaving only the soft hum of a TV broadcast filling the stillness. He breathed deeply, fingers tapping the redwood table so hard a dent appeared, tap tap tap, like a storm brewing. His brother had vanished over 2 weeks ago. The Mystic Zone search came back empty. Not a trace, not even a body. Huolong knew. His brother was dead, and the scene scrubbed clean. At least they recovered samples at the last known spot which tested positive for nuclear radiation, a grim clue. Holland's gaze stayed fixed on the TV replay of the Angxing Martial Finals, freezing on EL, unleashing a dazzling blue atomic breath. He murmured regretfully about his brother's ignored warnings and his mother's promise to protect him. Now crushed by sorrow, unable to find even a body. The announcer named Ihi the champion. Bloodshot but calm, Hualin recognized a rare genius destined for Capital Star University, though fate wouldn't let him enroll. He planned to enter a Mystic Zone today, eager to test his theory blending Godzilla and Colossus templates in real battle. Just as he geared up, a surprise letter from Chujio landed in his hands. The letter revealed a new Mystic Rift opening at 3 p.m. in Red Tree Mountain, danger-rated C-class. Chujio planned to investigate and invited a team-up. Ihi's first thought wasn't the rift, but that Chujio still sent handwritten letters in 2024, complete with swordsman cosplay and old-school talk. Was this guy stuck in a time warp? By 3 p.m., Red Tree Mountain transformed from empty, bustling battlefield hub. More than 1,000 fighters showed up, including elite warriors and top-tier groups. He found Chujio waiting at the mountain base, sporting a sword now hanging from his side. Chujio had leveled up noticeably, sharpening his senses after investing prize money in gene serums. His Colossus template compatibility jumped to 35%. Still D-class, but quick and effective. As they waited for the rift, they casually talked university plans. No pressure, just light banter. Chujio mentioned Capital Star University with a hint of something odd. Not pressing, he just smiled and joked about being future classmates. Suddenly, the crowd erupted. The Mystic Rift was opening right on schedule. A piercing screech tore through the air as a monstrous three-headed black-feathered bird pushed halfway out of the portal. This beast was clearly high tier, forcing its way to be the first to emerge from the rift. Unfortunately for the beast, over 1,000 armed warriors awaited, ready to strike without mercy. Battle cries roared as fighters surged like a tidal wave, ignoring the beast's awkward half-stuck stance. The three-headed bird panicked, thrashing wildly with flailing heads but trapped in place. Seconds later, the beast was trampled under blades and boots, a brutal reminder that the early bird often gets beaten down. Yaihai and Chujio slipped through the rift, blending with the crowd just behind the first wave. The other side revealed a jaw-dropping forest of colossal trees, towering over 100 meters like skyscrapers. Suddenly, a thick metallic blood stench hit EHE's nose hard. Ahead, the rift entrance was already a battlefield, beasts crashing into incoming warriors. Screams, roars, and clashing steel created a brutal, chaotic symphony of war. It dawned on him the warriors weren't just looting, they were holding the front line with purpose. The Blue Star Defense Act made it clear. Martial artists could explore zones but must protect the real world. Failures faced loss of status and military trial. Power carried heavy responsibility. Yihue and Chujio joined the front line, pushing back the beast tide without hesitation. Chujio activated his bloodline, sending icy waves that froze the beast's legs and sealed the path. Suddenly, a beast lunged at Chujio from behind. Without flinching, he unleashed an atomic detonation fist, turning the attacker to mist and melted flesh. Unfazed, he silently warned to watch their backs. He shrugged off the Mystic Zone beasts as weak, standing over a smoking field where none had survived his atomic wrath. Chujio, caught off guard, had just cleared a whole monster wave while holding the front line steady. The monsters didn't just burn, they vaporized, erased at the cellular level by atomic radiation's silent, deadly power. On open ground, A finally unleashed his nuclear fury. Beasts charged but melted into puddles just steps away, scorched by his intense heat. Elsewhere, tired fighters glanced back, baffled to see some already cooling off. Had a mercenary superstar entered the fray? Rumors flew. The top entrance exam scorer was handling entire monster waves solo. A trainee, more like a prodigy who could outfight 10 veterans. Fatigue spread, but his shout changed tactics, hurried the beasts toward E's radiation field. The battlefield shifted, turning him into a living death trap. Time blurred until a flare exploded overhead. Alpha beast down, tide breaking, warriors recharged, pushing monsters into full retreat, relentless until the end. Shuzhou exhaled, relief flooding him. Over 1,000 entered the Red Tree Mountain battle, but after the first wave, only about 800 stood ready. He sauntered up, dragging massive loot sacks with a relaxed grin, totally out of sync with the grim survivors, and dropped the monster cores with a thud. Without a word, Shuzhou handed over his sleek silver-black spatial ring, an invaluable tool to stash the growing horde. Eyes wide, he eagerly stuffed loot into the ring's infinite space, silently impressed by the hidden wealth behind Shuzhou's calm. Relief swept through the crowd as Wusun returned, the elite beast slayer, whose timely arrival had saved many lives. The crowd instinctively parted for a towering, broad-shouldered man radiating authority, heading directly toward Ihi with purpose. Wusun introduced himself warmly, regional commander of the famed Silver Wolf mercenaries, and greeted the top scholar with respect. Praising the feat, Wusun offered an S-rank contract with perks and gear, promising it wouldn't clash with university ambitions, a tempting deal from a top merc group. The offer stunned warriors. Silver Wolf's regional commander recruiting a trainee. Such faction backing was rare, often reserved only for the most elite. A golden ticket indeed. A majestic striped tiger emerged, carrying a confident woman who teased Wusun for rushing ahead to claim the prize before others could join. The woman made her pitch to Yai-He, join the smaller Chengda Corps and enjoy a personal cut of resources, no strings attached. A serious offer in its own right. The offer shocked onlookers. High-tier contracts thrown at a high schooler like he was a guild veteran. This kid was stirring up the status quo big time. He just smiled and declined politely, not ready to commit to any cores despite the tempting offers. Unfazed, the woman laughed, accepting the refusal with grace and leaving open doors from both cores for future calls of need. With the fight won, the warriors shifted to exploring. Shuzhou suggested scouting from the canopy to map the vast, tangled forest before pressing deeper. He agreed, activating his nuclear power and rocketing upward like a human missile, aiming for a treetop vantage point. Soon they stood atop a massive tree, hundreds of meters high, surveying the entire mystic zone beneath them. A sharp glance caught something distant, curiosity turning quickly into stunned disbelief. Near the mountain base, massive humanoid shapes lumbered slowly, their outlines clear even from hundreds of kilometers away. The towering figures stretched nearly a kilometer high, an absurd sight that barely seemed real. Before Chuzhou could reply, the confident voice cut in, daring to dream of hunting those giants and unraveling the mystic zone's secrets within years. Awestruck, Chuzhou wrestled with fear, but Aya's warrior spirit burned brighter, not just strength, but the heart to conquer the unknown. Ai practically vibrated with excitement, eyes gleaming at the thought of claiming every monstrous core from those walking giants someday. His sensors pinged across the mystic zone. One spot stood out, a huge lake in the southeast, completely lifeless, like a silent no-go zone. Suspicion sparked in his eyes. Dead zones meant hidden treasures, the kind worth taking big risks for. Without missing a beat, he rallied Chuzhou, time to gamble everything at that mysterious lake. They pushed swiftly through the towering forest, arriving at the eerie lake's edge. They found 3 figures waiting, including a familiar face, Rainy, which brought a quick smile of surprise. Teasing flew as Huang Yuli greeted the top scorer's reputation. Word had spread fast about the unstoppable high schooler. Rainy explained their recent arrival and sent 2 strong swimmers below to scout the underwater secrets. Just then, a teammate broke the surface, excitement written all over him. Yang's voice rang out, all thrill. Jackpot! The mother lode was found. The buzz grew. Ancient ruins beneath the lake promised serious rewards. Curious, Chuzhou shared why ruins stirred such hype. Ancient tech and martial secrets, foundations for today's breakthroughs. Yang's gaze sharpened, catching the newcomers. Suspicion flared. Were they spying? Huang Yuli diffused the tension, introducing He and Chuzhou as elite competitors worthy of joining the hunt. A friendly pat reassured Chuzhou, no thieves here, just allies ready to share the spoils. Yang negotiated terms. Each would keep their earned share, fair and simple. Though annoyed, Yu Yang knew better than to challenge rising stars, and reluctantly agreed with a wary warning. Deal done, Yu Yang led the plunge, the group following into the depths without hesitation. Their training paid off as they dove deep, following Yu Yang to a marker and into a hidden underwater cave. Emerging inside the cave, Yu Yang noticed Li Wei's absence. A teammate guessed he might have gone rogue, sparking quiet frustration. Yan fished out his radio, calling Li Yu repeatedly, only silence answered. Huang Yuli asked if they'd checked for monsters on arrival. Li Wei and another had set beast lures. No signs, no fur, nothing. Inspiring Mara, one teammate hesitated over Li Wei's disappearance, wondering if pressing on was wise. Yu Yang snapped the silence, urging them forward. Treasure awaited the bold while fear would keep them stuck forever. Cowards could leave. The rest followed. Doubts faded as no one budged. The lure of ruins overpowered fear. Nobody wanted to miss out or let others snag the loot. The group moved on. Yu Yang led quietly, tension thick. Every step deeper meant danger, an opportunity. A UV light revealed faint symbols marked earlier. The tunnel squeezed tighter, forcing the team to move single file deeper into the shadows. Moving through the tight space, a subtle smirk played on his lips, eyes sharp and calculating. A quick glance to Chuzhou exchanged silent doubts. Something didn't add up. Rainey's timeline clashed with how fast these two found the cave. Finding the cave and tunnel so quickly, not scouting, more like cheating with a cheat code. Chuzhou murmured low, clear signs of a setup, time to warn friends and bail. But a gleam of confidence showed he wasn't worried. A secret weapon was waiting. They reached a cavern as vast as a football field, walls and floor choked by thick, dark green vines. The vines held eerie trophies, dead monster cores and ashes. No wonder the lake was silent. Something had cleared the competition. Huang Yuli's face went dark, her voice icy. Where was the promised ruin? A teammate's scream shattered the silence, fingers trembling as they pointed across the cavern. Dangling midair, a mummified figure pierced by vines. Li Wei's clothes made it clear who it was. Huang Yuli and another woman staggered back, faces drained of color and horror-struck. Yu Yang sank to his knees, head in hands, muttering in panic. Where was the ruin? Li Wei was dead. How? The vines? The vines! Then sudden clarity struck. A desperate shout warned the group he might be infected too. Time to run. His head burst like a firecracker, spraying blood and bone. From the wreckage, vines slithered out, writhing like sinister tentacles. Huang Yuli's scream cracked the air, disbelief and terror bleeding through every note. Without hesitation, he unleashed a fierce atomic breath, scorching the monstrous vines. A blinding blue beam erupted, vaporizing the upper half of Yu Yang and the writhing vines clinging to him. Yi's gaze chilled the air. Monsters with this smarts were a whole new game. The creature had already killed 2 fighters, possessed one's mind, and used that body as bait, more ambush than hunt. This meant they were well inside its territory, a dangerous feeding ground. Suddenly, massive stones and thick vines crashed down behind them, blocking the only exit and trapping everyone inside. Chuzhou fixated on the writhing vines, recognizing the threat as a rare, royal-class ghost vine demon. Huang Yuli paled, knowing royal-class monsters were on another level. Their Tier 1 skills wouldn't cut it here. Unfazed, he flashed a confident grin, ready to take down any tower that crossed their path. Just as he prepared to transform, the blocked tunnel suddenly burst open from the other side. A figure cloaked in black appeared, blood energy swirling fiercely. Crimson smoke trailed behind, a feared Stage 8 warrior known as Blood-Chi Smoke. Calmly glancing back, he admitted surprise that anyone had managed to follow him this far. With a sharp frown, he mentioned tracking residual radiation that led him straight from the Red Tree Mountains. It had to be him. He explained hiding with all tricks, breath held, heartbeat slowed, even playing dead, yet still got found and nearly lost his whole clan to the enemy. Confused, he asked who this old man was, baffled by the sudden rant and unexpected arrival. No time for games, Will Long charged like thunder straight at EII. Mid-charge, realization hit. This was no ruin but a devil vine's lair. He'd been baited into a trap, likely set by E. Ho Along cursed the trap, knowing the devil vine drained energy and sprayed neurotoxin. A fight dragging on meant certain death. The vine's tendrils whipped wildly, but Ho Long smashed through like a wrecking ball. From the sidelines, E joked about how much he talked for a stranger. Ho Long snapped back, focused on killing the devil vine, not wasting time with side chatter. Huang Yuli warned the fighting threatened to bring the entire cave down. He ordered a clear path as his skin hardened into rough, deep blue armor. Radiant blue energy pulsed through glowing cracks, vertebrae lighting up like circuits as he prepared to unleash power. He unleashed a blazing atomic breath at full power. The blue beam shattered the cavern's ceiling, pierced the underground lake, and blasted into the sky. Water rushed in through the new hole, flooding the cave and creating a clear escape route. He urged Yuli and the others to move ahead first. How Long bellowed defiance, blasting nearby vines to ash before launching himself like a missile toward Ihi. Chuzhou unsheathed his sword as danger loomed, unleashing a frost aura that froze everything it touched. His icy strike met a fiery punch, exploding steam and mist that clouded the cavern instantly. He made it clear no one would touch Ihei while he stood guard. Ho Long sneered, unimpressed by frost, boasting his status as an 8th-level martial breaker. Before his bragging ended, he closed in and unleashed a point-blank atomic blast. The cavern lit up in a blinding blue surge, shaking the underground world. Taken by surprise, Ho Long slammed into stone with a thunderous crash. Yi's firm warning made Chuzhou realize he'd be a liability, so he retreated without hesitation. As Chuzhou fled, the cavern collapsed, exposing writhing devil vine roots. Unfazed, Huolong bit his own flesh, preparing to face both the monster and vines. Above, Huang Yuli and the team watched the lake churn violently, the deep rumble of falling rock echoing beneath. Shuzhou surfaced, easing Yuli's worry until it hit her that he hadn't come out fully yet. Before Yuli could react, a deafening boom shattered the lake's calm. A brilliant blue lightning bolt shot skyward, the signature blast of a Titan's explosive transformation. This colossal Titan's transformation unleashed a nuke-level blast, atomic-powered EA, a walking nuclear event that could flatten a military harbor without breaking a sweat. Ho Long got toasted instantly, charred before he could blink. Lake water shot skyward, steam billowing like the whole lake had turned into a boiling pot. Through the mist, a giant shadow flickered past, leaving the group wondering if it was real or just a trick of their eyes. Shuzhou climbed from the water, calling out for clothes, alert and soaked. After drying off, Shuzhou guessed the explosion came from a mystery fighter, who blew himself up with a plasma bomb, taking the Devil Vine down too. Shuzhou admitted to glimpsing a giant in the fog, but a quick dismissal blamed the explosion's smoke for playing tricks. He sighed quietly, relieved no one suspected his monster transformation. He'd overdone it, vaporizing the enemy with no loot left. At least the Devil Vine core was secured. Exhausted and drained, Huang Yuli's group prepared to leave the secret realm, exchanging lighthearted apologies and promises to repay past favors before waving goodbye. Yi and Shuzhou pressed on, their haul growing thanks to Yi's life field sensing prowess. By day 3, satisfied with their haul, they called it a day and prepared to exit. Back in the real world, they stared in surprise at planes buzzing overhead. This place had changed fast. Just days gone, and the once wild place was now a bustling town with cargo planes lining the sky. The country's infrastructure had sprung up at lightning speed, leaving even the most seasoned observers amazed. He made his way to the Relic Appraisal Center to get his haul checked and pay the mandatory 10% tax, warned gently about the risks of handling fragile treasures. Scratching his head, he admitted to overpacking. Unloading fast was the only way the staff could finish before lunch. The staff smiled confidently, promising professionalism as he sighed and began removing his spatial ring. Bags kept appearing, one after another, like a never-ending magic trick. Watching the last bag surface, the staff muttered under her breath, wondering if this was appraisal or just a warehouse dump. Nervously, she asked if that was the entire shipment. He grinned smugly, signaling the end of this round, but warned that a mountain of spirit herbs was still inbound. With the monster core evaluation done, he shifted focus to the herb counter. Green and white-gray cores had lost their value for him, so they went straight for quick cash. The real gems were 5 rare blue-tier cores from Tear, trophies from his beast-tide hunt. His crown jewel was a green core streaked with gold veins, plucked from a Tier 2 Royal Devil Vine. After cashing out, his balance soared past 20 million SIA dollars. Yet, the endless zeros brought little thrill, nothing compared to a 10% boost in compatibility. Raw power ruled here, so the real challenge was how to spend that cash for maximum upgrades. Available gene serums felt no better than low-tier cores, useless for upgrading his current templates. He sighed, realizing even his templates had turned into divas, more high maintenance than himself. High-grade serums were the goal, but they came locked behind tight purchase restrictions. His clearance level wasn't even high enough to get in line. Still, another path remained, mastering martial arts. His Godzilla template stats aced exams over geniuses, but actual fighting skills lagged far behind martial arts buffs. Time to fix that with some seriously overpowered moves. Luckily, the top high school principal held all the right connections. A visit to the wise old man promised some golden upgrades. Soon, he made a bold entrance into the principal's office. Calm as ever, the principal poured a cup of tea. Years of experience and a sixth sense for schemes made the principal instantly aware this kid came with an agenda. He casually revealed a bottle of expensive liquor with a rare ginseng herb inside, said to be an irresistible vitality booster for any middle-aged man. After some small talk, he cut to the chase, seeking powerful martial arts before university and asking if the principal had any connections to martial families. The principal frowned, pointing out his guaranteed admission and questioning the need to rush when those skills could be learned later. His hunger for growth, however, was undeniable. Amused, the principal agreed to make an exception for his special talent, reminding him education was meant to be flexible, not one-size-fits-all. He praised the principal's open-mindedness, claiming rules were made for breaking and flexible teachers kept hope alive. The next day, a call confirmed everything was set. The secret martial arts came from the Liu family. Now the real adventure began. The Liu family in Anqing, willing to share their secrets, promised an interesting experience ahead. In Anting, Liu Qingjia, young heir of the Liu family, tore through the streets on a $2 million black motorcycle, the engine roaring like a wild beast. A blonde clung behind, praising his wild side. His smirk was interrupted by a yellow rental bike pulling up, warning him to focus or risk losing someone precious. Humiliated as a self-styled bike god, Liu Qingjia nearly lost it, fuming at the audacity of racing a beat-up rental. Growling, he slammed the throttle forward. His bike roared to life, speeding ahead and leaving the little rental far behind, convinced no one could match him. Triumph swelled as the yellow bike faded in his mirror. There was nothing like humbling a wannabe. Suddenly, a thunderous roar behind him eclipsed even his own engine's fury. Glancing back, he spotted Ehe in nuclear leg mode, blue rocket flames shooting from calves as the guy flew past like a space shuttle on a bike. Ehe flashed a cheeky smile and zipped by with a casual "later, bro." Without missing a beat, he blasted into the sky, vanishing into clouds like a human missile. Lu Qingya and his passenger froze, stunned. Since when did bikes fly? That speed was basically jet level. 30 minutes later, he arrived at the Lu estate, calm and collected as if nothing had just gone down. No doubt, this was a true martial arts family. The estate resembled a miniature castle. His life field senses detected powerful forces lurking within, definitely no place to mess with. A figure in white appeared at the gates, Liu Qingzu, nervously greeting him. She explained the mother requested an escort, leading him inside to meet her. Without a word, he nodded and followed her quietly into the estate. Their steps landed on a plush carpet inside a grand, elegantly furnished hall. A soft call announced his arrival to a waiting mother. High heels clicked sharply, breaking the quiet with graceful authority. A poised woman with a commanding presence descended the stairs with calm elegance. He glanced up, stunned by a beauty refined by time. Like vintage wine, her elegance had only deepened. Watching quietly, he held his breath, silently realizing the true meaning behind Prime Minister. Days earlier, Qingzu had returned home, bracing for her strict mother's usual scolding after exams. Instead of anger, a rare invitation for tea in the study brought unexpected calm. The mother had watched Qingzu's battle live, offering calm reassurance instead of criticism. She praised the boy's strength and told Qingzu not to be too hard on herself. The burden of the Liu family's future rested solely on Qingzu's capable shoulders. Her brother's lack of talent meant the legacy would never fall to him. Despite her talents, her beauty and gender complicated matters, as a tender pinch of the cheek showed. With her father gone and no powerful allies, the Liu family was cornered, vulnerable to political marriages that threatened their century-old legacy. The prospective suitor was exceptional, humble, and free of scheming, just the right match in her eyes. Qinlan urged patience, encouraging Qingzu to spend time with Yi before deciding. Qianlan descended with polite respect, holding back a dramatic pose while offering a small gift and greetings. Qinlan dismissed the gift with a knowing smile and quickly arranged for Qingzu to guide him to advanced techniques. The straightforward offer shocked him. No tests, no conditions, just generosity. Qingzu would escort him to the Liu family's vault, where one day of study meant no techniques could be taken away. The vault's core hid 3 elite Xinhua martial arts, their secrets unlocked only by true skill. Learning Xian Huang-level skills stunned him, but gratitude came swiftly for the rare chance. He thanked the Liu family formally, signaling loyalty and a silent promise to repay their favor. Qianlan liked the subtlety, but his growing discomfort showed at her intense gaze. Qingzu led him silently to the vault, her unexpected shyness catching him off guard. He sensed Qingzu had been dodging his gaze, wondering what was up with her sudden shyness. Closing the gap, he caught her wide-eyed stare, like a deer caught in headlights. She'd never been this close to a guy. His warm breath tingled her cheek, and she stumbled back, trying to hide her fluttering nerves. Their playful back and forth continued until they reached a secret underground chamber, where his fingers traced the rough, unmistakably special stone walls. Qingzu explained the stone's power. Even the strongest strikes wouldn't crack it. He immediately lit up, eager to test it himself. Surprised by his enthusiasm, she gave the go-ahead, amused by his eagerness to punch rather than admire. Gathering his energy, blue light flared along his knuckles as he prepared to strike with full force. His fist tore through the air, smashing the wall with a thunderous blow. The impact sent a shock wave fluttering Qingzu's dress. No explosion, just pure power absorbed. The blue energy vanished into the stone, rippling outward like waves on a lake, leaving the surface flawless. Feeling his power nearly erased, he admitted defeat. Qingzu smirked, amused by his rare loss, then led the way with lighter steps. She explained the skill categories and handed him a sleek ID card, letting him unlock any technique he wanted with a simple swipe. The rare Xian Huan techniques were locked deep inside, but mastery would take months, maybe years, not just a day's glimpse. She admitted she wasn't sure if her mom was helping or testing him, offering easier high-level skills that fit his style better than the super elite ones. He brushed off the concern, then got serious. If he couldn't face the toughest challenge here, quitting was the only option. Recognizing his resolve, Qingzu stayed silent and opened the heavy stone door to reveal the vault inside. 3 locked cases awaited, each marked with mysterious names. 2 bore names familiar from before, Ephemeral Shadows and Primordial Jade Fingers. The third, a name none recognized, Fleshbound Demon Prison, sounded ominously brutal. Qingzu explained these techniques weren't like books, but living arts encoded with spiritual rhythms. One had to be chosen by the technique, not the other way around. Without hesitation, he confidently picked the most intimidating technique, declaring it was made for him. Qingzu opened the case to reveal not a scroll, but a terrifying bronze statue. The statue's muscular form was etched with ghostly faces, silently screaming as if trapping 100 restless spirits. Its presence was deeply unsettling. He blinked in disbelief. The statue was the technique itself. Suddenly eerie echoes filled his ears like ghostly wails. Qingzhu added that Xian Huan techniques weren't always written down. They could be statues, paintings, or relics harboring martial resonance. One reason grandmasters stayed so mysterious. Martial resonance, the essence only grandmasters can trap in objects, passes down techniques to future warriors. Qingzhu wrapped up and left the rest to him, leaving him confused, no clear instructions, just fate to guide the way. The advice was simple. If resonance picks you, it'll find its way. He blinked, wondering if this was a joke or some strange cosmic prank. Giving up on overthinking, he collapsed, muttering about fate, and quickly knocked out cold. From the monitors, Qingzhu sighed deeply, shaking her head. Classic him. Yishi was transported to a dusty, crumbling temple with a wrath-faced statue missing an arm. The resonance realm wasn't a place, but a spiritual echo embodying martial resonance itself. He attempted to summon power, but nothing came. No energy stirred, just powerless like a mere mortal. Luckily, the system kicked in with a warning and protective mental backup to keep him alive. Suddenly, a fierce voice boomed from the statue's broken arm, revealing a grisly-like brute guarding the temple. The brute's wolfish gaze challenged him. Only the tough inherit this legacy, or it would rot unused. The guardian was a living mirror of the statue, every scar and snarl perfectly matched. The brutal trial was clear. Protect the altar from a ghostly onslaught or face soul-consuming madness. No softies allowed. A cold raindrop fell through the cracked ceiling, landing on Aya's face as if marking the trial's start. Snapping back to focus, he noticed the guardian spirit vanished. Trial time. Behind the throne, a battered longsword awaited, rusty but ready. Sword in hand, he faced the temple's broken gates alone. Thunder cracked, rain poured harder, and a lightning flash lit his face. The ghostly parade had started. Shadows screamed and attacked, but he was poised and ready. The first specter lunged. He slashed without hesitation. The rusted blade glowed gold. The specter shrieked, then vanished into ash. His grin grew. No trial threw punches without some weapons hidden nearby. Fueled and grinning, he was ready to take on whatever came. No longer defensive, he charged headfirst into the swirling ghost horde with sword drawn. As he charged on, the savage brute reappeared, arms crossed, sneering. His deadly white ghosts had intent, but this rookie thought he could stroll out unscathed. What a joke. Another fool, the brute grumbled. Every generation seems more clueless. Looks like another cleanup job for him. Meanwhile, he was having a blast, hacking ghosts down like weeds, when suddenly another specter lunged. The specter's claws passed straight through him, no contact at all. The brute froze, baffled. Why couldn't his ghost's claws land? What was this kid made of? Inside the trial, Aya's monster template switched to guardian mode, making him untouchable. Realizing his invincibility, a wicked grin spread. His laugh turned wild, borderline unhinged. The massacre began. His sword skills were rough, but swinging wildly, ghosts fell like chopped veggies. The brute stared, dumbfounded. When did his deadly trial turn into a joke? How was his martial resonance useless here? Smugly, the brute declared it was hard work, though the kid's smug grin hinted at a secret hack behind it all. Chuckling darkly, the brute admitted the ghost was dealt with, but questioned if the kid could handle the real legacy. Thunder crashed dramatically as the brute finished speaking. The wrath-faced statue crumbled, revealing a dark, ancient well, a bottomless pit that sent chills down the spine. The well held the purest malice, the birthplace of the flesh-bound demon prison technique, if he could absorb it. Before finishing, the brute plunged straight into the abyss. Impressed for the first time, a grin broke out. That was the guts he respected. Once a legend, he conquered an S-rank secret realm, his fate forever bound to the flesh-bound demon prison technique. Age wore him down, and the malice he trapped clawed back, warping his mind until madness turned him against loved ones. To stop the madness, he ended his own life, sealing his rage and spirit into the statue, a legacy only the worthy could claim. After a century, the malice still lingered, a death sentence for novices. If EA could beat it, he'd surpass even the legend himself. In the surveillance room, Qinlan joined Qingzhu as they silently observed Yi deep in the resonance realm. Suddenly, Qingzhu gasped, alarm breaking the silence. On screen, Yi's body writhed, surrounded by a strange, ominous aura. Limbs twitched like needles pricking his skin. Moments ago, he'd smiled peacefully in sleep. Now he convulsed violently, as if electrocuted. Worse still, tiny streams of blood seeped from his pores. Qinglan stayed calm, puffing her cigarette smoothly. The third Qiang technique had once nearly broken her grandfather, rejecting even his mastery and leaving him badly hurt. Since then, no one in the family dared approach it. Power like that came with a brutal cost, fitting for a heavy crown. Claiming such power meant accepting its price, until her eyes suddenly widened in surprise. The screen showed him yawning and stretching, like he'd just enjoyed the world's best nap. Silence fell. Qinlan seemed a bit embarrassed, while Qingzhu just smirked, clearly thinking Yi's training wasn't quite the epic ordeal described. Opening his eyes, he bowed to the crumbling statue, silently accepting its legacy. The brute's voice echoed. Maybe this kid was gifted enough to solve a secret realm's mystery they never cracked. Inside, he chuckled. This wasn't talent, just some well-played cheat codes. Clenching his fists, power surged. The flesh-bound demon prison didn't boost stats, but adding Ishin Wang technique doubled his combat strength. Suddenly, the stone door creaked. Qinlan and Lu Qingzhu entered, silently asking if Yi had made it. Yi grinned brightly, clearly proud he'd nailed it. Qinlan was stunned. Mastering this usually took a week of sleepless focus, yet Yi claimed only an hour, like he'd hacked the system. Qingzhu shot Yi a sideways look as Yi wore a smug grin, silently claiming the real genius was standing right there. Sensing doubt, Yi laughed and offered a quick demonstration for proof. Channeling qi into his palm, a dark red aura crackled, like a cursed video game enchantment boosting his strike's damage. He launched a mountain-crushing fist, energy exploding in black-red waves. The blast forced the mother and daughter back, the eerie sound of a ghost wailing filling the air. Lu Qingjue, a prodigy herself, narrowed her eyes. That punch's precision was insane, for a basic, overused move no less. Xinlin stared at Yi, her expression unreadable, clearly surprised to have underestimated him so badly. Yi squirmed under the intense gaze, silently begging to avoid a weird romance subplot. No desire to become family politics prime minister. Qingzhu suggested trying the other techniques, reminding Yi a full day of training still awaited. Zhanlan gave her daughter a side-eye, thinking about securing Yi as family, but no way they'd reveal all their secrets at once. Yi smiled politely, knowing restraint was key. Mastering one technique well was better than rushing. Plus, he had real-world stuff to handle. Qianlan admired his maturity, then teased about his rental bike, urging him to grab a proper car from the garage. Yi suddenly remembered seeing a cool motorcycle earlier and casually asked if they had one available. Xinlin laughed, agreeing and promising to lend her rebellious son's favorite bike, the crown jewel of her collection. Minutes later, Lu Chengjia arrived just as An Hong muttered about a future son-in-law. He scoffed, knowing no random guy was worthy of his prodigy sister. Liu Chengji fumed over the rental bike punk who scared off his date, promising a hard lesson if they crossed paths again. Mid-rant, something zipped past Liu, snapping his head around in surprise. Jaw-dropping, he recognized the rental bike guy, this time riding an actual motorcycle. Night fell. Back home, quiet settled in. He lined up 5 monster cores from the secret realm, ready to gulp down their power. Having nearly died swallowing them dry before, he came prepared, with a soul-boosting dipping sauce. Dunking a core in his spicy sauce, he swallowed it, feeling energy surge and heat flood his limbs. Checking his system panel in the Red Tree Mountain realm, his titan form towered 50 meters, a giant among monsters. Still dwarfed by a mountain-sized godlike figure in the mist, he decided to go all in, dumping every point into his titan form. Grabbing the rare green core streaked with gold, he dipped and devoured it like a spicy snack without hesitation. As the special core began absorption by his Godzilla template, an unexpected system alert flashed. A system chimed. Legendary Godzilla template absorbed a high-level plant lifeform. Mutation detected and underway. A prompt asked if he wanted to block the mutation, yes or no. He paused, weighing mutation risks. A new subclass might be stronger, or a total disaster. Shrugging off doubts, he embraced risk, like upgrading from rental bike to superbike, and allowed the mutation. Another chime confirmed mutation path unlocked. Legendary Godzilla plus plant equals S-class planet, Godzilla template. Full integration grants a 2% chance to evolve into planet Godzilla. Absorbing more plant cores ups those odds. Hearing this, he exhaled deeply. Jackpot indeed. Though similar in looks, planet Godzilla was a colossal beast, over 300 meters tall, 1,000,000 tons, and packed with pure stat upgrades. First, he had to max out his current template, time to grind hard and fast. While planning ahead, a deafening blast shook the world outside. Flames lit the night sky through the window. Alarmed, he wondered if the chaos signaled a terrorist attack. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button until explosion. See you on the next video.